It's the first Wednesday of the month, and San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria is kind enough to join us to answer some of your questions. We have a lot to talk about, as always. Thank you so much for your time. I want to get right into this one. We had a story on top of our newscast tonight. We talked to you about it before. Problems with the water billing coming out of the city of San Diego. This family, years, and it was multiple thousands of dollars of bill that they got, and they had no idea. Why is it taking so long? It's a 5-year problem. Why is it taking so long to fix this?
The show's not long enough, Carlo, but I want you to hear, and your listeners and viewers to know, this is not acceptable. We need to fix it, and we are. I think in that particular case, I am familiar with the circumstances of that particular family. We're going to continue to work with them as we would with every customer, whether it is to pay on installments, not to provide any fines or penalties, and work with them to get this resolved. Their situation may be somewhat unique, but there's the broader issue that you all have been reporting on about our practice of holding bills when there are irregular bills. I personally think that process is not appropriate. I mean, we should inform people that that decision was made back in 2017 and is still with us. This month, the city will begin to actually actively inform people when their bills will be held, so they know there's a problem, that we're working on it. I think that's the minimum that we should do. The long-term fix is to have a billing system that is state-of-the-art, which is what we do not currently have. But we will have that notification fixed by this month, so that going forward, your viewers, if their bills are held, will be informed by us, and they'll know that there's a problem that we're working to resolve.
I know there are a lot of moving parts here, but is sometimes institutional inertia a problem? We had Shannon Haney talking to the Director of Public Utilities. She asked a straightforward question: why can't they put like a warning on the landing page for the Public Utilities website, something like that? And it's still the same. I don't see anything changing there. Why isn't that happening? Something that simple.
So we did post a story on what we call InsideSanDiego.org, which is our city's news center. And I actually think that was a great suggestion by Shannon, and we can and should do that. But this notification of utilizing this document, this is what we're going to start sending out to folks when they get it. So rather than silence, you'll get a letter from the city of San Diego saying, we understand that there's a problem. We are working to resolve this. We'll get back to you. Now, the get back to you part is problematic. You know, the institutional inertia that you're describing really has to do with a perfect storm of all kinds of problems. When I took over the city, we had a 20% vacancy rate in the public utilities department. That means 1 in 4 positions of the city working on this work had no one sitting in those chairs.
That sounds like a lot.
That's a lot. We're now at 15%, so there's progress. We've been able to recruit people, get them trained, put them in those chairs. Training used to be 8 weeks, it's now 4 weeks, because we need to turn things around faster. We used to have a significant backlog of requests to start and stop service. We now have that automated and online. That's helping to address the issue. Previous wait times for calls to the PUD department were 2 hours. We now have it down to about 30 minutes. I am not satisfied with 30 minutes, but going from 2 hours to 30 minutes shows you that we are making incremental progress, and we're going to be relentless until we get this to the position that the viewers should have, which is immediate notification and quick resolving to their problems.
Plugging a lot of leaks at the water department, unfortunately.
Yes.
Okay, we did a story yesterday. We talked to vendors at Balboa Park, street vendors, sidewalk vendors. They have their permits, but they said that even though there was a moratorium during the summer, it never stopped them because of the First Amendment right issue for some of them. Kind of news to us. Do you know about this?
Intimately.
And
unfortunately, this is a statewide thing. I actually had a meeting at lunch today with the mayors of the 13 largest cities in California. We're all dealing with this. So these folks will get creative, right? The state of California authorized street vending in 2019. The city of San Diego, unfortunately, did nothing about it until I became mayor. We worked with Councilmember Jennifer Campbell, passed a law that has become effective in 2022. And as with any new law, people will find ways to try and evade it. They are asserting that in some cases they're vending, which we see as commerce, as being free expression or First Amendment rights. In Balboa Park, we do have free expression areas established, but we don't have those yet in the beach areas where we're getting a lot of complaints. We will continue to enforce the sidewalk vending ordinance. In fact, we've issued over 170 citations in the short time that it's been law in the city, but it's clear that we need to make some tweaks to the ordinance in order to address this free expression issue. We understand people have First Amendment rights, but they don't have the ability to overrun our parks and detract from the enjoyment of the general public of places like our beaches and Balboa Park.
Did the moratorium stop anyone?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is progress from the Wild West days before, when the city had its head in the sand on this issue, to Dr. Campbell and myself working on this, getting this passed by the city council. There is an improvement, but we continue to get feedback from the public that they're not happy with the situation.
It's a big loophole.
And that's in part because folks will always find a workaround. They definitely keep us busy. Our goal ultimately is to follow state law, follow the Constitution, but understand that people don't have unfettered access to our public spaces. Our parks are for the general public's employment, not necessarily for personal enrichment.
Running out of time here, but we've got some video. Encampment ban started a month ago, but we took some video today. We went to East Village, a different part of downtown, and there's still lots of tents out in the sidewalks. Can you tell us when people might actually see a difference, and maybe what we're not seeing, is there something good happening that the numbers tell us?
No question. Well, first off, I mean, and we discussed this, I think, a month ago, whether it was you, myself, or Marcella, but this is going to be a slow process. Okay. We chose to prioritize and focus on schools and parks first. So, yeah, actually, I was down that same street today, saw that same thing myself. Not acceptable. But if you go down to commercial or national, what was previously all tents unpassable for any pedestrian is now clean. Balboa Park, large areas of that, our rangers are saying where there used to be tons of tents, there are no longer tents. So again, commercial national is near Francis Perkins Elementary School. Prioritize. Balboa Park, prioritize. We will get to these locations eventually. We only have so many police officers, so many park rangers, but our commitment is to continue going until we get this under control. We have already heard from plenty of residents. They've seen improvements, but understand we're not satisfied yet. We're going to keep going.
All right, Mayor Todd Gloria, thank you as always for being so kind. Come to our house and spend some time with us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.